I finally got my hands on the new Rolex Land-Dweller, and wow, this one is different. It's been hyped everywhere since Watches and Wonders. Some people are calling it a game changer, others are not convinced. So here's my honest take. 3 things I absolutely love about it, and 1 thing I just can't stand. Stick around, because the last one might surprise you. First thing I love, the slim profile. The moment you strap it on, you feel it. It's the slimmest oyster in the lineup, under 10 millimeters thick, and it just melts onto the wrist. It disappears under a cuff, but when you pull it out, it has presence. It's elegant, but still tough. It feels like Rolex finally figured out how to make a refined daily piece without losing their DNA. And it's crazy, because when you think of Rolex, you usually think chunky submariners and heavy sea dwellers. This is the complete opposite, and that's what makes it so refreshing. Second thing I love, the case and bracelet details. Rolex really dug into their archives here. It's giving those vintage oyster quartz vibes from the 1970s, with the integrated bracelet look and beveled edges that catch the light in the best way. If you know your Rolex history, you'll see hints of the Beta 21 and the oyster quartz reference 5100. Those were bold moves back then, and you can feel that same spirit here. On wrist, it feels seamless, modern, but with a clear nod to heritage. And that to me is when Rolex is at their best, when they respect their past but give it a twist for today. Third thing I love, the everyday factor. This might be the most versatile Rolex in years. You can wear it casually with a hoodie or dress it up with a suit and it never looks out of place. It's not as loud as a Daytona, not as simple as an Oyster Perpetual, it's right in that sweet spot. If someone asked me for a one-watch collection piece, this would be one of the first names I'd mention. And then there's the variety. The Land-Dweller comes in 2 sizes, 36 and 40 millimeters, which means it works on almost any wrist. And Rolex didn't hold back on metals either. There's Rollsor, that steel and gold combo. There's Everose Gold, with that warm tone that's perfect if you want something more luxurious. And Platinum. If you've ever worn a Platinum Rolex, you know it's a different experience. The heft, the feel, it's unmatched. And of course, Rolex couldn't resist showing off some diamond set versions, which tells you straight away they're positioning this watch as a future classic across all tiers. But here's the part I hate, the honeycomb dial. I get why Rolex did it. It's laser etched, it's meant to play with light, and it is unique. But for me, it just feels too busy. In some angles it shines, but in others it almost distracts from how clean the rest of the watch is. I personally think a sunburst or matte dial would have elevated this piece even more. And knowing Rolex, they'll eventually release those versions, and when they do, you know we'll all be tempted to swap. That's their classic move. So here's my final take. Rolex is telling us this isn't just another release. This is the start of something new in the collection. Still, overall, the Land-Dweller really surprised me, and I think it's going to become a serious collector favorite. Would you take this over a date just or a day date? Let me know in the comments. And if you're hunting for one, you already know where to find me. I can source it for you.